let's have a look at New Year's resolutions, though, should we? You're bound to have made some. Will you stick to them? Probably not, because we don't, do we? But what about doing more exercise in 2016? That can't be a bad thing, can it? Well, perhaps it could be. Health experts are saying that if we sort of go in for this extreme exercise, you could do yourself more harm than good. We're injuring ourselves more and more, it would seem. Let's talk to triathlon runner and physio Julia May. Good morning.
Morning.
Look, you know this from both sides then, if you're quite athletic and a physio as well. What mistakes are people making?
Well, I think the big problem is that people are getting good ideas about improving the amount of exercise that they do, and obviously for the health of the population, that's something that we want to encourage and not to diminish people's wants to try and join in things. There's a massive growing sport of triathlon with lots of events encouraging people to take part, so like super sprint distances, which you could literally come in off the street and run and do one of them. But people are going into them as kind of what we would term weekend warriors, so they're spending a lot of time at their desk, sedentary jobs during the week, and then expecting at the weekend to take on these massive either endurance activities or put a whole lot of effort in. So it's the sort of expectation and pacing themselves to achieve those things.
And yeah, if they give themselves a little bit of an injury, does it really matter? Is it something that you can easily recover from? Or are you talking about getting injuries that actually could be sustained?
Well, looking at most of the injuries that occur in the triathlete population, they can be compared generally to running-related injuries. They mostly are less injuries than you would get in the general runner population, but most of them sort of are around the knee, lower back, and ankle injuries. So when you think about like shin splints, these are all overtraining and people going into a sport and trying to sort of blast into it.
Is it the type of sports people are taking up, or is it the amount of activity they're suddenly undertaking?
Well, I think it can be varied. So if you're inadequately prepared for anything, then you're going to struggle with adapting your posture to sustaining a position or running a distance or swimming. So people who are coming in from a background where they've been runners previously, probably a little bit of an advantage to those who have been cyclists or swimmers, looking at the prevalence of injuries in that population.
Generally, are we slightly deluded in how fit we are? As in, I used to run, I used to cycle, I used to do all sorts of things, but I can't do it now.
Well, I think it's about setting achievable goals, so making sure that you're realistic with what you are achieving and building a adequate support structure within your week. So for instance, if today you've said, my goal is to do a triathlon of a short distance this year, really looking at how you program your week. So making sure that you've got some core stability exercises in there. So as a physio, we really advocate the use of the core stabilizers around the abdominal region, particularly around the pelvis and the hip, because a lot of injuries occur in the lower limb related to the iliotibial band, which is sort of down the side of your leg, into the knee injuries, and how you work your muscles at the back of your legs is really, really fundamental for these running type injuries. Lower back injuries, particularly if you're sitting in this posture at your desk, slumped down the whole time, can really be worked with Pilates, which really helps to sort of open things up and strengthen.
I think, Julia, the message is be prepared, do a bit of research and don't just jump into it all. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I'll be in the green room in about 5 minutes if you get the towels ready, and I'll have a nice massage. Lovely.